I just saw the Oscar animated shorts of 2024, and I'm recording this on my phone and I can't have the list pulled up in front of me. So I'm going to do the best to recreate what I thought as I was watching it, to share with you a little bit about my opinions and which one I thought was the best. And they were all very distinct, which was really cool. It felt like, also they were all very similar to me in terms of, I'm just going to say it, white culture. That didn't negate them, but I always love when there's a diversity among the shorts of this country in Asia, this country in the Middle East, all of this. So I know that's probably something that's going to have me be biased, but I also am going to speak to, just generally what I thought. The first one was called Our Uniform. It's from Iran, and it was specifically told from this young Persian girl's perspective. And it was her voiceover speaking Farsi, and then there was the titles underneath it. And I just looked this up, and I thought this when I was watching it, like the uniqueness of, they combined real fabric with animation. And there was a lot of different abstract and pushing the boundaries of angles. Like there was this one shot where they were in a plane and they had really big legs unfurled, but then the bodies kind of got smaller as it went up to the top. And what was really cool is that the story addressed the feeling of her oppression, being forced to wear and cover her hair and wear the traditional hijab. And it was just really, really cool. I really liked it. I think that was my favorite one, and I want that one to win. I loved all the other ones, but I liked them for different reasons. The letter to a pig was very cool, how they mixed real visuals and then they did various different abstract ways to animate on top of that. And the way that I interpreted the telling of the story, because the telling of the story by the Holocaust survivor, at the very end, he said something to the effect of, like, you can only trust us, and I sought out my revenge. And it very much, I feel like the point that it was making was, when we start to point our finger and say us versus them about anything, whether it seems justified in the acts of horror that were committed, we become no better than them. So I think that's what the allegory was, where they saw she went to a dream and she saw the pig, and then they all attacked the pig and, killed the pig essentially. And then it's almost like the pig was reborn and she got how horrible she was and what she had done, what they had done. So both those, in my opinion, were the most powerful. Now, I have a feeling that Letter of a Pig will probably win, because there's a lot of Jewish artists in the entertainment industry, and it does seem like the perspective of Jewish heritage is something that's very much favored in a lot of the stories that are told in Hollywood. So that's what I'd like to win is Our Uniform. What I think will win is Letter to a Pig. I really liked 95 Senses too. I thought that guy was I loved the voiceover. I loved the story. I didn't see it coming that he was an inmate on death row. And I liked the message of kind of leaving us with what happens to the rest of the senses. And I also kind of liked how it started off talking about our society and youth and how, you know, just being on our phones all the time. And it kind of felt, there was aspects that reminded me of my dad. You know, my dad never had a cell phone and he refused to get a cell phone. And even when we got him a cell phone, he never used it. But this notion of a man who is of a generation who's never had a cell phone, which is part of the senses that are constantly bombarded for us, and also who's been in this cell for so long. Really, really interesting. I liked War is Over, but to be honest, if Letter of a Pig doesn't win, War is Over is probably going to win. It felt very mainstream. It felt a little cheesy, to be honest. I got emotional, but I get emotional everything. I got emotional, hashtag spoiler alert, stop watching now, when the pigeon died. That's what made me cry. The fake violence to the animals in an animated form, like Letter of a Pig, I got really emotional and uncomfortable with the pig and the violence being done towards the pig, and then with the pigeon dying. But with the John Lennon song at the end, and even the style of animation, it felt very Disney. It felt very corporate. It felt very like there's a lot of money behind this one. So part of me is like, that if Letter to a Pig doesn't win, that's probably going to win. I liked the beautiful references of pachyderm. I felt very poetic. It felt almost like a little poetic story. And I love the different camera angles and how they chose to show those perspective in the animation, because it felt very much like the memory and recollection of a young girl and how she sees things. There were certain angles of her grandfather that they showed. Hashtag spoiler alert, stop watching now, stop listening now. That even before there was, that I think the point, what she was saying was that she was molested by her grandfather. Even before that, the way that it was shown leading up to that point almost foreshadowed that for me. I'm trying to think if there's any more. Did I miss one?